Hi, this is Andre the Real, and you're watching True School Sports.
It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
Zoro, exposed by Bivol, proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of Zoro exposed by Bivol subscribers. You saw it. Yes, I'm in the parking lot. I'm about to go to the gym and get my workout in here on this lovely Sunday afternoon here in South Florida. And I'm yelling Zoro exposed by Bivol in the parking lot. But I wanted to give my thoughts on the recent big news of Caleb Plant versus Benavidez. Both fighters announced via Instagram, Twitter, and all their social media platforms that they have both, in fact, signed a contract and they will be fighting each other next. Now, there was no dates mentioned, there was no venues mentioned, but if both fighters are saying they're both going to fight next, then that's an encouraging sign, because we've seen in boxing, we've heard talks and dates from different sources and platforms and reporters, but the fighters themselves never mentioned it for big fights like Crawford Spence. So this is different in the sense that we're getting it from the direct sources, the fighters themselves. And you know what? I think it's time for boxing fans to get excited about this fight, because Caleb Plant Benavidez is not. It's more than just a good fight. It's an awesome fight. You know, it's going to be a great build-up. We know that Caleb Plant, when it comes to trash talk, is one of the best in the sport. We know Benavidez has developed quite a mouthpiece on himself over the last couple of years, and a lot of people are buying into the Benavidez hype. But you know what? It seems like a lot of people are buying into the Caleb Plant hype as well, and it's a good matchup. You know, you got one of the best offensive fighters in boxing against one of the most athletic fighters in boxing, and probably one of the more defensively sound fighters in boxing, Caleb Plant. But also I think this fight's happening at the right time, because you know Caleb Plant's coming off of what I think will be the most devastating knockout he would ever get in his career against Anthony Durrell, and Benavidez has been getting a bunch of knockouts recently against guys like, you know, smaller guys, but you know, last fight he fought David Lemieux and starched him. So should be a really fun fight. I really want to give Caleb Plant his just due, and I think more boxing fans should give Caleb Plant his just due, because I remember when he signed to fight Canelo Alvarez, people said Caleb Plant didn't fight anybody except Jose Uzcategui. But now you're looking at him fighting. Now he's fought Jose Uzcategui, he's fought Canelo, he's fought Anthony Durrell's last fight, albeit an older Durrell. But two of his last three fights, he's fighting two of the top names in boxing, in and around his weight, Canelo and Benavidez. Now, obviously, he came up short against Canelo, but that's Canelo. Canelo's a top fighter. Canelo's a pound-for-pound guy, a top, you know, pound-for-pound guy in the sport. And a lot of guys are going to lose to Canelo. So there's no shame in that. But this is a fight that I look at to be a little bit more on the level. You know, Benavidez, for all the hype and all the hooting and hollering he's gotten, he hasn't really fought that top competition in the sport. He hasn't really fought at this level before. So really, it's the onus is really more so on Benavidez to perform in this fight, not so much Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is going to be Caleb Plant. We know he's going to go in there. He's going to be slick. He's going to box. He's going to do his thing. But the question is, you know, will the Benavidez defense be sound enough to limit the jabs of Caleb Plant, to limit, you know, the athleticism that he has in the ring? Because, you know, I've talked to a couple of fighters who I'm not going to name here on True School Sports, but I've talked to a couple of fighters in boxing about, you know, because guys that have sparred Caleb Plant and Benavidez, and I've kind of just asked them and picked their brains about what they thought. And the consensus I'm getting from a lot of the guys who have sparred both of them is that, you know, they say Benavidez is a big kid, because they say Benavidez walks around like 200 plus pounds, 210, 220 pounds, whatever it is. Big guy, cuts a lot of weight to get down to 168. So they said, you know, pretty much if Caleb Plant can control the pace of the fight, he's got Benavidez pretty much beat everywhere on the board. He's got more skills. He's got a better jab. He's got better feet, you know. So I don't know if I see it quite that way. You know, I think Benavidez has made some subtle improvements over the years, and I think Benavidez has really good stamina, and if you sit there and trade with him, he's a great, and I'm not talking about a good, I'm talking about a great combination puncher. So Caleb Plant and Steven Breadman Edwards are going to have to come up with a good game plan to really limit the offensive freight train that is Benavidez. Because whether you like him or not, whether you love him or hate him, Benavidez is one of the most offensively gifted fighters in the sport. But it seems like, you know, Caleb Plant, who's got Steven Bretman Edwards in this quarter, is going to be making some tweaks to his style, and he made some tweaks to his style to that last fight if you really paid attention. And you know, you got to remember what Steven Bretman Edwards, and I wanna tip my cap and I want to give Artman Boxing, because I did actually watch a little bit of his live recently where he was talking about this fight. He made a great point. He said that he stated that Caleb Plant has Steven Bretman Edwards, the same Bretman Edwards that trained Julian Williams to fight Jarrett Hurd. Now, I don't want to compare Benavidez and Jarrett Hurd, but there are some similarities between the two. Both are bigger guys for the weight class. Both aren't necessarily known for their defense. They win their fights with their offense. And Julian Williams, who was looked at to be the lesser puncher of the two, the lesser fighter of the two going into that fight, went in there and he completely neutralized and beat Jarrett Hurd at his own game. Now, I'm not saying Caleb Plant can do that, but I think he's got a guy in his corner who's seen this kind of style match before and has had success with it. Is Steven Bretman Edwards, and I feel like it's very possible we could get that here with Caleb Plant, Dave Benavidez. But my only question for Caleb Plant in this fight, as it is with all of his fights, is how is that stamina going to hold up? If this fight goes into the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th round, how does the stamina of Caleb Plant hold up? Because it's one thing to manage your stamina against a guy like Anthony Jarrell, who is past his best. It's a much different equation when you got Dave Benavidez, who, you know, let's face it, he's an offensive freight train, and he's going to throw not just hard punches and not just high volume punches, but heavy-handed volume punches, because that's what he is. At the end of the day, when you cut it up, slice it and dice it, and talk about Benavidez and what he is a heavy-handed volume puncher, which is many times a rarity in boxing. Most times, the guys that are volume punchers aren't the heaviest-handed guys, but he's been blessed by guys that have both those attributes, and he's worked hard to develop those attributes over the years. So I think it's a great matchup, one of these best matchups in boxing, and it's one that we're going to be talking about a lot here on True School Sports as it gets closer. So shout out to Al Heyman and PBC for making a great fight. You know, I give credit where credit is due. This is a fight that we waited for a long time. Samson Lukowicz made sure we waited for it. He made sure we waited for it for a long time. In the time that Benavidez declined the initial fight, or not Benavidez, but Samson didn't want to make the unification fight in early 2020, the Benavidez hype and stock has gotten bigger and larger. So, you know, shout out to Samson for moving his guy correctly, even though a lot of us got frustrated with it. And hopefully we get an announcement on a date soon, a time so people can make their plans and get excited about this fight. And you know, I just want to know when the first press conference is, because I know it's going to be great. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys have as your early favorites for Caleb Plant versus Dave Benavidez. These are just my initial thoughts on it. We'll definitely be talking about it more here on True School Sports as more things come out. But leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you could love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.
I think True School Sports, he's the truth. One of the best the best.
Ooh,
the
number one.
Number one.
Brandon, you've been there, man, and you're building up a good following with us.
Thank you.
And I'm proud to be a part of what you're doing, too. You are spectacular. And
Thank you, man. All the best to True School Boxing, and keep up the good work.